Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to do a deep dive into James Corden's weight loss,
Oh, yeah.
especially his experience with Ozempic.
Right.
We got articles from Prevention, Business Insider, and there's this one really fascinating piece. Looks at Corden's transformation over the years.
Okay.
So, what are we hoping to uncover? I'm really curious,
Yeah.
What can Corden's story teach us about weight loss?
Yeah.
The role of medications like Ozempic, and how all of that fits into a healthy lifestyle.
Well, I think what makes Corden's journey so compelling, his motivations are incredibly relatable. He's talked about,
Yeah.
wanting to be healthier for his family,
Yeah.
hoping to increase his longevity,
Right.
and even just like, a boost in self-confidence.
Yeah.
Those are things most of us think about.
Totally. And it's worth pointing out,
Yeah.
this isn't his first time trying to lose weight.
Right.
Back in 2021, he had a lot of success with Weight Watchers. Shed 28 pounds. Oh, wow.
By focusing on balanced eating and portion control, he actually said that approach really worked for him because
Yeah.
it felt like a lifestyle shift,
Right.
not like, a crazy crash diet.
Yeah.
But then he decides to try Ozempic, and this is where things get really interesting
Okay.
because for him, it didn't work.
Didn't work, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting. And his explanation for why is pretty insightful.
Okay.
Corden was very upfront about the fact that, his eating habits weren't always tied to actual hunger.
Right.
Like, he admitted to sometimes eating large amounts of food even when he wasn't physically hungry.
Yeah, I remember that bit about him
Yeah.
eating an entire, Christmas chocolate bar
Oh, wow.
in a car wash.
Oh.
Not exactly someone starving, all right?
Yeah.
So what's going on there?
Well, I think that anecdote really highlights
Yeah.
the complexity of something like emotional eating.
While Ozempic, it works primarily by suppressing appetite.
Mm-hmm.
It mimics a hormone called GLP-1.
Right.
Signals fullness to the brain, but
Yeah.
it doesn't really address those underlying,
Mm-hmm.
emotional triggers that can lead to overeating.
So it's not as simple as just turning off hunger.
Exactly. GLP-1 is
Okay.
it's a very complex hormone
Yeah.
with a wide range of functions in the body.
Mm-hmm.
It plays a role in regulating blood sugar levels,
Oh, wow.
slowing what's called gastric emptying,
Right?
even influencing mood and reward pathways.
Hmm.
So Ozempic basically it kind of hijacks this whole system, leads to that prolonged feeling of fullness. But for someone like Corden,
Yeah.
whose overeating wasn't primarily driven by physical hunger, that might not be enough to change those
Yeah.
ingrained behaviors.
That makes a lot of sense. And even if Ozempic does suppress appetite,
Yeah.
the articles mentioned, it can come with side effects
Yeah.
like nausea and diarrhea, right?
Yes, those are some of the commonly reported ones.
Yeah.
And while a lot of people, they find them manageable,
Right.
it is crucial to,
Yeah.
weigh the potential benefits against the risks. Plus, as we've been discussing,
Yeah.
it's not a standalone solution.
So where does Corden's journey go from there? It sounds like he realized he needed to address the psychological side of things as well.
That's exactly where he turned his focus.
Okay.
Corden's been very open about,
Yeah.
actively working on addressing emotional eating patterns and cultivating a
Right.
more positive mindset.
I'm curious, what does that actually look like? What tools or strategies can help someone tackle emotional eating?
There are several effective approaches,
Okay.
and therapy is often a crucial component. For instance, cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT,
Right.
can be particularly helpful, I think,
Yeah.
for addressing the thought patterns and beliefs that, contribute to emotional eating.
Okay.
It helps individuals to, identify their triggers, challenge negative thoughts,
Yeah.
and develop healthier coping mechanisms.
So it's about rewiring, those
Right.
automatic responses to stress or emotions.
Yeah, precisely. And while Corden, he hasn't publicly detailed,
Right.
his specific therapy journey.
Yeah.
His emphasis on mindset, suggests that he's exploring
Okay.
these types of strategies.
And that's so important because, as we discussed,
Yeah.
simply suppressing appetite with medication might not address the root cause of the overeating.
Exactly. Weight loss is it's a multifaceted challenge, and medication, if used at all, it should be part of a broader approach. That includes, therapy, behavioral changes, lifestyle modifications.
It sounds like Weight Watchers, actually provided him with a good foundation for making those lifestyle changes, even if it didn't fully address the emotional eating component.
That's a great observation.
So Weight Watchers, back in 2021, he lost 28 pounds. He found success with their program, which at its core focuses on mindful eating, portion control, and making healthier food choices.
Right.
He has said that he appreciated. It wasn't about restriction. It wasn't about deprivation. It was about creating sustainable habits.
Right.
So instead of feeling like he was on a diet, it was more about integrating healthier choices into his everyday life.
Exactly. And that's a key principle that can apply to, anyone's weight loss journey.
Yeah.
It's about finding an approach that, fits your lifestyle, that you can stick with long term.
So Weight Watchers, it gave him that foundation. Then he explored Ozempic, looking for another tool, which in the end, wasn't the right fit for his personal needs.
Exactly.
Where did he go from there?
Well, he recognized that he needed to go beyond medication and address the mental and emotional aspects of his relationship with food, and in tandem with that internal work. He also made some pretty significant changes to his physical routine.
The article has mentioned that, he started working with a trainer and incorporated, regular exercise.
Man, that's a fantastic addition to any weight loss plan. Regular exercise. It has so many benefits. It boosts metabolism, helps burn calories, builds muscle, improves cardiovascular health, and can even have, a positive impact on mood and stress levels.
It's like that old saying, exercise isn't just about being skinny, it's about being strong and healthy. I feel like we often forget about those, mental and emotional benefits.
Absolutely.
Exercise.
Corden's experience really highlights weight loss is truly a holistic journey. It's about addressing, the physical, mental, and emotional aspects of our well-being.
And it sounds like a big part of his journey has also been about, being open and honest about his struggles.
You're right. He hasn't tried to, portray this perfect image of effortless weight loss. He's been candid about the, the challenges, the ups and downs, the ongoing work that it takes.
That's so refreshing, especially in a culture where, we're often bombarded with unrealistic beauty standards and quick fix solutions, It makes him much more relatable, don't you think?
Definitely. And that relatability is so important because it helps to, normalize these conversations about weight and body image. We need more, public figures like Corden who are willing to be vulnerable, share their experiences. It can really inspire others to prioritize their own health and, seek help if they need it.
One of the articles even mentioned, Corden has inspired others to, reevaluate their own health habits. Seek out solutions that work for them, whether it's through, a program like Weight Watchers, exploring medications like Ozempic, or, diving deeper into those psychological factors, driving their eating habits.
That's the power of, someone like Corden sharing his story. It reminds us that, we're not alone in these struggles. And that there's no shame in, seeking help or trying different approaches until, you find what works for you.
It's like he's giving people permission, to be honest about their own journeys and to seek out their own definition of health and well-being.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it reinforces the idea that there's no one-size-fits-all solution.
Yeah.
When it comes to weight loss.
Right.
What works for one person,
right.
It might not work for another.
Yeah.
It's about finding what's sustainable and healthy.
Yeah.
For you,
right.
as an individual.
And that brings us back to, what we've been exploring throughout this whole deep dive, Corden's experience. It really exemplifies those complexities of weight loss.
It's so much more than just finding the right diet. Or the right medication.
It requires a multifaceted approach that considers our relationship with food, addresses any underlying emotional or psychological factors, and incorporates, sustainable lifestyle changes.
Absolutely.
And as we've seen with Corden, that journey can involve, exploring different options, learning from what works, what doesn't, and ultimately, finding a path.
Right.
That leads to, long-term health and well-being.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, that journey, it might not always be linear. There might be, setbacks, plateaus, moments of, frustration.
But it's about, finding what works for you and recognizing that it's, an ongoing process.
Right.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into, James Corden's experience and everything we've learned about, weight loss, medications like Ozempic, the importance of, a holistic approach.
Right.
It leaves us with a pretty big question to ponder.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on, the increasing popularity of these medications?
It's definitely, it's a complex issue.
Right.
And there are no, easy answers.
Right.
On the one hand, as we've discussed, these medications, they offer a new tool in addressing weight loss.
Yeah.
Particularly for individuals who are, struggling with obesity.
Right.
Which can have, serious health implications.
Right.
But on the other hand, there's a lot to consider.
Yeah, like we talked about earlier, the potential side effects are a concern for some people, and there are questions about the long-term health implications that haven't been, fully studied yet.
And we also have to think about, those societal pressures surrounding weight and body image.
Yeah.
Are we moving towards a culture where, these medications become the expected solution, even for those who might, benefit more from other approaches.
Right.
That's a conversation we need to be having.
It makes you wonder if something like, Ozempic had been readily available and widely, promoted.
Yeah.
When Corden first started his journey, would he have even explored those lifestyle changes and the deeper, psychological work?
Yeah.
Would he have missed out on some of those, crucial lessons?
Right.
Self-discoveries.
That's a
that's
a really interesting point.
Yeah.
And it highlights the importance of, approaching weight loss with a, nuanced and thoughtful perspective.
Right.
Medications like Ozempic, they can be valuable tools for some, but they shouldn't, overshadow the importance of those foundational pillars like health eating habits, regular exercise, and, addressing those mental and emotional aspects of our relationship with food.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into James Corden's experience, it feels like, the biggest takeaway is there's no one-size-fits-all solution.
Exactly. And ultimately, it's about finding what's sustainable and healthy for you, taking into account, all aspects of your well-being.
Cordon's journey with, all its twists and turns, it reminds us that, it's an ongoing process of learning, adapting, and, finding what truly works.
And it's a reminder that, it's okay to, seek help, to try different approaches, to be, open about the challenges along the way.
So, as always, we encourage you to keep, exploring, keep learning, keep asking questions.
When it comes to your health and well-being, you are your own best advocate.
Well said.
So, with that, we'll wrap up this deep dive into James Corden and Ozempic. So we hope you found it insightful, and thought-provoking.
He found success with their program, which, at its core, it's about mindful eating, portion control, and making healthier food choices, basically.
He has said he appreciated that. It wasn't about, restriction or deprivation. It was about, creating sustainable habits.
Exactly.
So instead of feeling like he was on a diet, it was more about integrating healthier choices into his everyday life.
Exactly. And that's a key principle, I think, that applies to, anyone's weight loss journey. It's about finding an approach that,
fits your lifestyle. That you can stick with long term.
So Weight Watchers, it gave him that foundation. Then he explored Ozempic. Looking for, another tool. Which, in the end, wasn't the right fit,
Exactly.
for his personal needs.
Yeah.
So where did he go from there?
Well, he recognized that.
Okay.
He needed to go beyond medication. And address, the mental and emotional aspects. Of his relationship with food.
And in tandem with that internal work, he also made pretty significant changes, I think, to his physical routine. The articles mention that he, started working with a trainer and incorporated, regular exercise.
And that's like a fantastic addition to, any weight loss plan. Regular exercise has. It has so many benefits. It boosts metabolism. Helps burn calories. Builds muscles. Improves cardiovascular health. And, can even have a positive impact on, mood and stress levels.
It's like that old saying, exercise isn't just about being skinny. It's about, being strong and healthy.
Exactly.
I feel like we often forget about those, the mental and emotional benefits of exercise.
Absolutely. And Corden's experience really highlights that. Weight loss is truly a holistic journey. It's about addressing the physical, mental, and emotional aspects of, our well-being.
And it sounds like, a big part of his journey has also been about being open and honest about, his struggles.
You're right. He hasn't tried to, portray this perfect image of effortless weight loss. I mean, he's been candid about the challenges, the ups and downs, the ongoing work that it takes.
That's so refreshing, especially in a culture where, we're often bombarded with those, unrealistic beauty standards and, quick fix solutions. It makes him much more relatable, don't you think?
Definitely. And that relatability, I think, is so important because it helps to, normalize these conversations about weight and body image. We need more. Public figures like Corden who are willing to, be vulnerable and share their experiences. I mean, it can really inspire others to, prioritize their own health and seek help if they need it.
One of the articles even mentioned that, Corden has inspired other people to, reevaluate their own health habits and seek out, solutions that work for them. Whether it's, a program like Weight Watchers or exploring medications like Ozempic or, even diving deeper into those psychological factors driving their eating habits.
That's the power of,
Yeah.
Someone like Corden.
Yeah.
Sharing his story, I mean.
Yeah.
It reminds us that, we're not alone in these struggles.
Yeah.
And there's no shame in, seeking help or trying different approaches until, you find what works for you.
It's like he's giving people permission to, be honest about their own journeys and to,
seek out their own definition of, health and well-being.
Exactly. And it reinforces the idea that there's no one-size-fits-all solution when it comes to weight loss.
Right.
What works for one person might not. Might not work for another. It's about finding what's sustainable and healthy for you as an individual,
And that brings us back to, what we've been exploring throughout this whole deep dive, like Corden's experience.
Yeah.
It really exemplifies those complexities.
It's so much more than, just finding the right diet or the right medication.
It requires a multifaceted approach that considers, our relationship with food.
Right.
It addresses any underlying emotional or psychological factors.
Right. And incorporates sustainable lifestyle changes.
Absolutely. And as we've seen with Corden, that journey, it can involve, exploring different options, learning from what works, what doesn't, and ultimately finding a path that leads to long-term health and well-being.
Absolutely. And that journey, it might not always be linear. Right. There might be setbacks, plateaus, moments of frustration, but it's about finding what works for you and recognizing that it's like an ongoing process. So as we wrap up our deep dive into, James Corden's experience and everything we've learned about weight loss, medications like Ozempic, the importance of, a holistic approach, it leaves us with a pretty big question to ponder. What are your thoughts on, the increasing popularity of these medications?
It's definitely it's a complex issue, and there are no, easy answers. On the one hand, as we've discussed, these medications, they offer a new tool in addressing weight loss, particularly for individuals who are struggling with obesity, which, can have serious health implications. But on the other hand, there's a lot to consider.
Yeah, like we talked about earlier, the potential side effects are a concern for some people, and there are questions about the long-term, health implications that haven't been fully studied yet.
Right, and we also have to think about those those societal pressures surrounding weight and body image. Are we moving towards a culture where these medications become like the expected solution, even for those who might benefit more from, other approaches? That's a conversation we need to be having.
It makes you wonder if something like, Ozempic had been readily available and, widely promoted when Corden first started his journey. Would he have even explored those lifestyle changes and the, deeper psychological work? Would he have missed out on some of those, crucial lessons, self-discoveries?
That's a really interesting point, and it highlights the importance of, approaching weight loss with a nuanced and, thoughtful perspective. Medications like Ozempic, they can be valuable tools for some, but they shouldn't overshadow the importance of those foundational pillars.
Yeah.
Healthy eating habits, regular exercise, and, addressing those mental and emotional aspects of our relationship with food.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into James Corden's experience, it feels like, the biggest takeaway is there's no one-size-fits-all solution.
Exactly. And ultimately, it's about finding what's sustainable and healthy for you, taking into account all aspects of your well-being.
Corden's journey, with all its twists and turns, it reminds us that, it's an ongoing process of learning, adapting, and, finding what truly works.
And it's a reminder that, it's okay to seek help, to try different approaches, to be open about, the challenges along the way.
So as always, we encourage you to keep, exploring, keep learning, keep asking questions. When it comes to your, health and well-being, you are your own best advocate.
Well said. And with that, we'll wrap up this deep dive into James Corden and Ozempic. We hope you found it insightful and thought-provoking.